rise to nominate Kevin McCarthy, Speaker of the House.
The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. There's been a lot of talk about history over the last few days. And 1856 was the last time it took longer than the votes we're having right now to find a Speaker of the House. 133 over 2 months. Without question, the issues divide us today are much less severe than they were in 1856. In fact, there's far more that unite us than divide us, regardless of our political party or our ideology. The issues today are over a few rules and personalities, while the issues at that time were about slavery and whether the value of a man who looks like me was 60% or 100% of a human being. It was a long, drawn-out, painful process, but it needed to happen. And in the end, Nathaniel Banks won by the slimmest of margins. But you know, margins don't matter when your policies are on the right side of history. On that day, long ago, the good guys won. On that day, long ago, the abolitionists won. On that day, the people who believe in freedom and self-determination won. The leading Republican nominee won then, and the leading Republican nominee will win again today. Since then, our nation's made a lot of progress. That includes families like mine. My family's gone from slave to the floor of United States House of Representatives, being the first member of his freshman class to speak in a series of 5 generations. My family has gone from slave to right here since 1856. My father and mother born in the 1940s and 1950s in the Jim Crow South, and my dad lived directly across the street from a school he couldn't go to because he was black. He started a business with 1 truck, 1 trailer, no excuses, with the help of his wife, and now his son stands here on the precipice of taking back the majority for the American people and taking this nation in the right direction. Yeah. I'm a freshman. I've only been here for a couple of days, but I've heard a lot of DC politicians tell me about how broken DC is. I don't need DC politicians to tell me how broken DC is. The American people have already told us how broken DC is by giving Republicans the majority so we can fix this mess. We will counter the socialist movement of envy and confiscation with a conservative movement of access and opportunity. We will stand on the right side of history again. We will end the growth of government, and we will stop 87,000 new IRS agents from picking through your pocketbooks. We will secure our energy independence. We will ban the sale of petroleum from our strategic reserves to China. We'll establish a bipartisan select committee specifically to keep our eye on the ball in China. We'll address the crisis at the border that's killing Americans by the day and improve both our safety and our nation and our dignity for those who come here in search of a better life. But not yet. We're still stuck at the starting block. The American people have told us by putting a Republican majority here that they want Republicans to lead, and they want a government that works and doesn't embarrass them. And we are failing on both missions. That must change today. It will change. Benjamin Franklin said, we must hang together or must assuredly hang separate. We're stuck in a malaise, at an impasse, and we will stay here. We will not be able to fight the real conservative fights until we find a way to come together and fight that mission together. Yesterday, we experienced very briefly our first win. It's a small victory. It's a small victory. It was a small victory, but didn't it feel good? We've been working hard for that victory, and there's much more to come. As a cadet at West Point, I learned the phrase, and it's always been my motto throughout life: mission first, people always. And right now, the people are left out. Right now, they don't have a Congress to speak for them at the highest level of government. Right now, every individual in this room can concede that the rounds that we've taken is not what we told our constituents we do. We told them that we would fight the opioid crisis. For perspective, there's a hallowed monument that my father took me to. My father's a Vietnam veteran. This monument is a total length of 500 feet, nearly 2 football fields. It's 10 feet high, and the letters are only a ½ inch. 58,000 names. 58,000 names for a war that lasted years. According to the CDC, in 2021, we lost almost twice as many people as we lost in Vietnam to overdoses. We've lost 600 Americans to overdoses since Tuesday, y'all. We're talking about the debt rising. You can't count how many dollars we spent of our great-grandchildren's money since Tuesday. The work we promised the American people we would do, we're welching on that promise. But I have hope. I have hope that we'll be able to come together, unify, and put the right person in leadership. From many one, e pluribus unum. I'm standing here today because I'm the 7th to stand up in support of Kevin McCarthy for Speaker. He's earned my trust. The first time we met was in his office under the watchful gaze of a Frederick Douglass painting. And he told me in that office on the eve of the 2019 State of the Union address that there's nothing that could be said or done during that address that embarrassed him more than the fact that when the Democrat side stood up, they would look more like the United States of America than we did. And he set out not to compromise our values, not to compromise our ideology, but to work harder to make sure that more people with diverse perspectives and different lived experiences could be here. In the very next election, he won 14 seats up from 199. And all the seats he won were with minorities, women, and veterans. The very next cycle, this next cycle, he won, and me and my good buddy and classmate Wes Hunt helped double the number of Black Republicans in the Republican Congress. Look, y'all, we have a long way to go, but we've come so far. We've come so far, and we can't quit. We can't quit. You don't fire a guy who's winning. And when you look at the governor's mansions and the legislatures we've lost across the country just this past cycle, and when you look at the gains that Kevin McCarthy has made uphill, getting the gavel as a minority leader in half the time, you know, the mainstream media likes to laud the leadership of Nancy Pelosi. Kevin McCarthy won the gavel back as minority leader in half the time uphill. We want to talk about people who can win. Well, I'm a Lions fan, and that's right. Look, I'm well acquainted with snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Y'all, we need to learn how to win. We need to learn how to take a victory. And by Kevin McCarthy's leadership, he's given us victories on rules. He's given us victories on keeping costs down. He's given us victories with winning a majority back. I'm so proud to be a part of the majority-making class, and he's earned my trust. And hopefully he'll earn your trust. And he's got 90% of us in the conference. When is the last time any of us had 90% approval ratings? Kevin McCarthy, you're going to see up there, is over 90% approval ratings. If you really want to start making history, let's do it the right way. We need a conservative fighter to help this country get back on the right track. But the first thing we need to do is elect Leader McCarthy as Speaker of the House. I'm ready to make history, and I know you are. I'm excited to work with each and every single one of you because we have a job to do. So at the direction of the Republican conference, I advance the name of Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House for the 118th Congress.
Broadcasting live here on this day, January 5th, Thursday, in the year 2023, from the most trusted puppet in media. Reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman, and this is the 118th Congress. Today is the 7th vote. We had 3 votes yesterday, and now we had 3. We had 3 yesterday and 3 the day before.
Madam Clerk, I rise to nominate Hakeem Jeffries of New York for Speaker of this House.
Well, at least you got to give it to the Democrats. At least they're all united. They all know how to step in line, fall in line, goose step in line.
The gentleman is recognized.
Madam Clerk, I speak on behalf of the Democratic Caucus when I say that there is no victory in adjourning without doing the business of the people. Madam Clerk, House Democrats are united behind a champion of expanding and protecting the right to vote. Since the beginning of 2021, 21 state legislatures have passed 42 restrictive voting laws. Hakeem has stood up against voter suppression and the new Jim Crow era every step of the way. As we begin a new Congress, we need a leader who believes in strengthening democracy, who understands that to cast a vote is a sacred responsibility that should be afforded to the many, not the privilege for the select few. Hakeem understands that in order for us to become a more perfect union, we can't deny the voices of individuals in a democratic process. Madam Clerk, today we affirm our support of the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act and nominate Madam Clerk, and that's why I am directed by the Democratic Caucus to advance the name of Hakeem Jeffries from New York as Speaker.
For what purpose does the gentleman from North Carolina rise?
Madam Clerk, I rise to place in nomination the name of Byron Donalds of Florida.
God, here we go again.
Recognized.
Here we go again.
I begin by saying how much I have anticipated the gentleman from Michigan's arrival in this House, not in the Senate, not in the old staid, unchanging Senate, but in the House where we make change. Yesterday, we could have elected the first Black Speaker of the United States House of Representatives.
That's true. It's true. Of course, it's the Democrats that are probably mostly shouting over there. Of course, they're saying now they're shouting Hakeem. Playing right into their hands.
Hear me clearly. Hear me clearly. Had the cascade of votes begun, it would have extended to every member of this body. It could begin today. Last night, I sat within feet of Mr. Donalds as the tweet of another member-elect appeared on the screen. That member-elect wrote and sent out to America that Byron Donalds is a prop. I've spent a good bit of time with Mr. Donalds, especially lately. He ain't no prop.
Had someone reach out and say that he was just token. He was just the token person. Of course, you know, that's not racist at all. You know, when someone calls someone token, of course, especially when it's someone white. Ridiculous.
And if he were a prop, he wouldn't be sitting where he's sitting. This is the tired, old, grotesquely racist rhetoric that we've seen far too long. Today, a member-elect quote tweeted a Fox News story that incorrectly reported that I said that if I don't prevail on the question before the House, I will resign. That member-elect quote tweeted that incorrect story for his own political purposes after the story had been corrected and the actual statement contradicting that report had been provided. This is the old trafficking in lies from Washington that the American people know far too well. And by the way, I'm not leaving. Kevin McCarthy released to the public on New Year's Eve a document entitled Restoring the People's House and Ending Business as Usual. To his great credit, Mr. McCarthy made a statement of huge significance to the country. The nominal leader of a major party acknowledged publicly that this institution is broken, and he committed to make change to fix it. So let me help my colleagues in the minority understand.
We have 2 votes coming in. One for me, of course, for Speaker. Appreciate that. And the other one for Batman. So Batman and myself.
That's what these 3 days have been about. 3 days. We are committed to make change to this institution that has lost its way. It is epitomized in the $1.7 trillion omnibus rammed through this institution just 2 weeks ago. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I came to fix this broken system. America has seen that problem for a very long time, too. The commitment to change it is new. The genesis of the prospect of changing it emerges from this moment and those since June that led at long last to the New Year's Eve statement of Mr. McCarthy and to these 3 days on the floor. America needs men and women of courage to do something new in Congress so that Congress can serve the American people.
Congress has no desire to serve the American people. It's nothing but a dog and pony show.
The Lord said, "Behold, I do a new thing." We need more Byron Donalds. I know Byron. He's not a prop. He's a man of personal conviction. He arrived at his convictions through authentic and genuine life experience. People ask me, what is the end game? How does this end? The answer to this question is that this is a dynamic process. all of the decisions on
It's a dog and pony show. That's what it is. Let's just call it. Let's just call a spade a spade.
one way or another. This is the people's business. We will resolve the people's business.
No, you won't. You're going into an 8th vote. You're coming up there and you're electing Byron Donald. You're going to go to an 8th vote. Now, I don't have any. Listen, I don't have a stake in the game other than I'm rooting for interesting.
We will go to the mat for the American people.
All right, would you just get your ass off the screen? This is ridiculous. Okay, listen, nobody wants to hear you talk anymore. Let's get to the damn votes.
Because we will be led by people of conviction, like the gentleman from Florida, Byron Donalds. I yield back.
All right, finally, once again, broadcasting live here on January 5th, Thursday, in the year 2023. We're now getting to the votes, finally getting to the votes one last time. We need strong partisan divisions to create less political options and prescribe subscription-based agendas. Definitely, I can concur with that. That is from DFS. Once again, I did want to pull up, of course, one of these other comments here in just a moment here. Let me turn down the commotion here going on in the House. And turn this down over here. Let's see. Okay, turn that down. And here we go. We're going to start this going off. Here we go.
McCarthy.
Jeffries and McCarthy. Here we go. Now, remember, it was Byron Donalds that had 20 votes yesterday. So 20 votes yesterday. And we'll see if he has 20 today. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to do the 8th round of voting, but we will come back for the 9th. So once again, you are listening and watching live with the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, Sam Newsman, here for this 7th vote for the Speaker of the House. McCarthy with 5, Jeffries with 3. We will see pretty soon here when Donald gets his first vote here in just a few moments.
Babin. McCarthy. Bacon. McCarthy. Baird. McCarthy.
There we go.
Paulson. McCarthy. Allen. Jeffries. Banks. McCarthy. Barr. McCarthy. Berrigan.
Biggs is coming up.
Berrigan.
Berrigan's not voting yet.
Dean of Florida. McCarthy. Beatty.
Biggs is coming up.
Bentz. McCarthy. Farah. Jeffries. Bergman. McCarthy. Byer. Jeffries. Bice.
Here we go.
McCarthy. Biggs. Donalds.
Donalds, there it is, the first one. That's number 1. Now, remember, all we need is about 5 individuals, 5 or 6 individuals, and it will go to an 8th vote.
McCarthy. Bishop of Georgia. Jeffries. Bishop of North Carolina. Donalds.
Donald's second vote coming in.
Blumenauer. Jeffries.
Once again, we're only waiting until about 6 people vote for Donalds, and then that will be
Bogert.
a call for a Byron Donalds from Bobert.
Bonamici. Jeffries. Bost. McCarthy. Bowman. Jeffries. Boyle of Pennsylvania.
Donalds now with 3 votes.
Jeffries.
We only need about 3 more. 3 more, and then we'll be going to a 8th voting process here for the Speaker of the House. Speaker of the House being the 3rd person in line. Well. There we go. Skydro Walker, thanks for coming in and joining into the show. Are you familiar with Skydro Walker? Question is are you familiar with extreme sets? If you're not, well, let me just tell you right now. If you go to extremesets.com and you use the code SKYDRO, you will be able to save 15% on your purchase. That's right, 15% when you use the code SKYDRO at extremesets.com. Now, your photographs might not look as good as Skydro Walker on Instagram, which you can follow him right down there. Yes, Skydro Walker, at Skydro Walker on Instagram. However, you'll be able to save 15% while at least trying. And like I said, follow Skydro Walker on Instagram and use the code SKYDRO, SKYDRO, at extremesets.com.
McCarthy. Caraveo.
Good morning, Skydro Walker. We are here now live with this vote of the House of Representatives, the speakers of the House. Donald's already having 4 votes. All we need is about 2 more votes, and then there will be an 8th round. McCarthy with 25, Jeffries with 21, Donald's with 4.
McCarthy.
2 more votes. That's right, 2 more votes.
McCarthy. Carson. Jeffries. Carter of Georgia. McCarthy. Carter of Louisiana.
Hope everyone out there is having a great day. It is beautiful here in the lovely Richmond, Virginia. Beautiful sunny day. Could be outside right now, but of course here I am doing this, as the only and the most trusted puppet in media can do, is give you a play-by-play of what's going on.
Jeffries.
I wish this Congress would end in the Mars attacks fashion. I think that's how we feel about every single Congress to be the case.
Jeffries. Pastor of Florida. Jeffries. Castro of Texas. Jeffries.
We know that Matt Gaetz is going to vote for Donald's, and then we know that Donald's is going to vote for Donald's.
Sherfulus McCormick. Jeffries.
So we do know that we are going to be going to an 8th vote. I can just predict that right now.
Jeffries.
Just go ahead and
Cicilline.
count that one
Jeffries.
right now for my prediction.
Francisco Bonnie.
Donald's with 4, Jeffries with 32, McCarthy with 30.
Clark, Massachusetts.
At least you got to give it to the Democrats. They are holding the line on their side.
Jeffries.
They're not going to budge one bit. They're going to show that they are unified, lockstep, goose step, as they always are.
McCarthy. Cloud.
Of course, nobody goose steps the way that a Democrat does, especially here in Congress. Like I said, they all know how to fall in line. So Republicans that who knows what they're going to do.
Clyde. Donalds.
Of course, then people will get upset and they'll be like, well, Sam, what are you saying? Are you saying the Democrats are Nazis? And I'll say, well, listen, let me give you a little bit of history. The fact of the matter is that the Nazi Party didn't surrender in World War II. You know that, right? The Nazi Party did not surrender in World War II. In fact, it was the German Party that did. And look at that. We already have Donald's with 6. So we're going to an 8th vote, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to an 8th vote.
Jeffries.
McCarthy with 35. Jeffrey was with 39. Donald's with 6.
Costa.
I mean, you did know that, right?
Jeffries.
You did know that the Nazi Party never surrendered. It was the German military that surrendered. No, the Nazi Party just all of a sudden just had to get, shipped over here with Operation Paperclip. There we go. Byron Donalds, number 7. Okay, we're going to have we'll have it here on the screen here in just a few moments where McCarthy does not have the numbers for the leadership. We will be going to an 8th vote. The question is that will I be here doing the play-by-play for the next vote? Might take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll do the 9th vote, the 9th vote being the historic vote. But we will be coming back after. Yep, there it is. What did I tell you? McCarthy does not have the votes. An 8th speaker vote is to be expected. Donald's with 7, Jeffries with 43, McCarthy with 36. Once again, you are watching live here with the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, Sam Newsman, here on this day, January 5th in the year 2023. We've had 3 days of voting. This is our 3rd day of voting. This is the 7th vote for the Speaker of the House. Last time this happened was in 100 years ago. In 1923, the Speaker of the House was finally elected on the 9th round of voting. Of course, we don't think that that will happen this time around. Should be very interesting to note. The Republicans, of course, continuing to block the nomination of Speaker McCarthy. The Dem Party had to goose step in order to create their own relevance to push for the civil rights movement. Well, it's interesting that you say that because there was a lot of Democrats during that time that did not vote for the civil rights movement at all. In fact, if you go back and look, the blue team is actually the party, historically the party of the KKK. A lot of people don't want to sit there and admit that, and they think that, oh, well, the parties have changed. The parties have changed. And, well, no, it hasn't. The only thing that has changed is that both of them now are bending over and grabbing the soap to the banks because it's all about the money. Follow the money, and they both are actually funded by the same corporate interest. So when I sit there and I look at all this happening as it's going on, all I see is just a dog and pony show. However, there does seem to be some Republicans that are holding the line and are not wanting to grab the soap, I guess, unless they're grabbing the soap for each other. Once again, it doesn't really matter because the reality is that this is just a dog and pony show. People think that their vote matters. Remember, it's all a big club. And you and I are not in the big club. You know, that was George Carlin that said that. In fact, you think that your vote matters. That's very interesting as well, because when you sit there and you think about voting, I always hear people say that, well, you don't have you can't say anything because you didn't vote. Well, wait a minute. Where's the logic in that? In fact, if I didn't vote, maybe we wouldn't be in this mess right now. So it's your fault if you voted because you voted for this mess. If you want to sit there and play that game, absolutely ridiculous. 7 for Donalds, 56 for Jeffries, 47 for McCarthy. Interesting how Jeffries always has more than McCarthy. It'd be interesting, too, if all of a sudden that a bunch of Republicans started to fall in line and started supporting Jeffries. Oh, my gosh. Yesterday, Donalds had 20 votes. It'll be interesting to see if he sticks with 20 votes today.
McCarthy. Fallon. McCarthy.
McCarthy with 50, Jeffries with 60, Donalds with 7.
Ferguson. McCarthy. Finstad. McCarthy. Fishbach.
Let everybody know that if, everyone tries to say that politics is boring. Well, politics is only boring is because when I'm not doing it, of course it's boring. But what you really need to have is the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, doing this play-by-play. 56 for McCarthy, 60 for Jeffries, 7 for Donalds.
McCarthy. Fletcher. Jeffries.
Matt Gaetz is coming up here in a few moments. That'll bump Donalds up to 8.
Jeffries. Fushi. Jeffries. Fox. McCarthy. Lois Frankel.
Of course, the question that I have for anybody there in chat is, do you think that McCarthy will get it, or will McCarthy have to step aside? It's just going to be this line of 20 that is going to continue to block McCarthy. Let's see if we actually get to 20 or if it goes less.
Fulcher. McCarthy. Gates. Trump.
Trump! Whoa! Oh! Oh my gosh. There we go. Matt Gaetz. Woo! Oh my goodness. Did you guys hear that? Donald J. Trump. And then there goes Marjorie Taylor, of course, clapping for him as well. And a commotion now all over the floor. Donald J. Trump has been nominated by Matt Gaetz for Donald J. Trump being nominated for Speaker of the House by Matt Gaetz. First person to stand up and do that. You know, I should have said that the other day, that Matt Gaetz would stand up and say that. So I do know that I'm sure that if Skydro was still listening, he thought that was very interesting. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The news of the day so far in this very first round is that Donald J. Trump has been nominated by Matt Gaetz for the Speaker of the House. Donald J. Trump for the Speaker of the House. So that is very, very interesting. Interested to see what happens with Marjorie Taylor. Wow. I mean, I would say that I'm speechless, but all I'm going to do is laugh. Donald's, of course, now with 8. Donald's, of course, now with 8.
Of Texas. McCarthy.
Oh my gosh, you can't write this. You cannot write this. Oh my gosh. Donald's with 9. Jeffries with 74. McCarthy with 69. And Donald J. Trump with 1 vote. Donald J. Trump with 1 vote. That is only from a Florida child. Oh, wow. Wow. Hold on. Let me see if I got to send this out to somebody.
Jeffries. Green of Georgia. McCarthy. Griffin.
Wow.
McCarthy.
Green.
Grijalva. Jeffries. Grothman. McCarthy. Guest. McCarthy. Guthrie. McCarthy. Hageman.
Green, of course, going for McCarthy still.
Hageman. Carter of California. Jeffries. Harris.
Donald's now with 10 votes. McCarthy. Good afternoon, Nico Tronus. I want you to have a little bit of an update here. We have McCarthy at 78, Jeffries at 78, Donald's at 10, and the other that you see on the screen is Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump that was nominated by Matt Gaetz. I can't make this up. Ooh. Want to see if he'll actually do that next go round as well.
McCarthy. Forsberg. Jeffries.
Very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Very interesting. Donald's with 10. Jeffries with 81. McCarthy with 83.
Hoyle of Oregon. Jeffries. Hudson.
What an interesting series of events.
Huffman. Jeffries. Huizenga. McCarthy.
Very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are once again. Here we are on this third day of voting on Thursday, January 5th in the year 2023, as we are doing the 7th round of voting for the Speaker of the House.
Texas. McCarthy. Jackson Lee. Jeffries. Jacobs. Jeffries.
What a very interesting series of events.
McCarthy.
Very interesting series of events. Jeezy, thank you for listening. Just be safe on your travels. Jeezy Creasy. Be safe on your travels. But we are here. Jeffries, of course, voting for Jeffries. McCarthy with 89, Jeffries with 92, Donald's with 10, and the others is 1. That others is Donald J. Trump, voted on by Matt Gaetz.
Johnson of Georgia. Jeffries. Johnson of Louisiana. McCarthy. Johnson of Ohio.
Very, very interesting. Thrilling indeed. I think it's thrilling. A lot of times people say that politics is boring. Well, of course it's boring, so long as that I'm not doing the play-by-play. And who else would you rather trust for the play-by-play than the most trusted puppet in media? Reporting since Roswell, Sam Newsman. Doing this once again, play-by-play. McCarthy, 95. Jeffries with 93. Donald's with 10. And the others with 1. That other being Donald J. Trump, voted on by Matt Gaetz of Florida. Very, very interesting.
Keating.
They're going to continue to block McCarthy. I just got that note in
Kelly.
from one of our
Jeffries.
analysts, our news and information analyst.
McCarthy.
They're just going to continue to block McCarthy. So they're going to go to an 8th round. They'll probably go to a 9th round. Can't see them going any more than that. But here we do have Donald's with 10 votes. Jeffries with 98. McCarthy with 98.
Jeffries. Kylie. McCarthy.
It took 7 votes for somebody to say Donald Trump's name. Of course, it was Matt Gaetz. That still just makes me giggle.
Kim, California. McCarthy. Kim of New Jersey. Jeffries. Krishnamurti. Jeffries.
Of course, the question is how many of these members of Congress did President Trump even bankroll?
McCarthy.
So are they beholden to him?
McCarthy.
It'd be funny if Donald's already voted for himself.
Lloyda.
Be interesting to see if anybody else votes for Donald J. Trump. $104 McCarthy, 103 for Jeffries, 10 for Donald's, and 1 for Trump.
Lansman.
Here in this first round of voting on this day. It is the 7th round of voting overall, though. But we have 3 votes yesterday, 3 votes the day before. So I'm expecting that we'll have 3 votes again today. And then that would mean tomorrow we'll have a 10th vote, which will be historic as well. First time in over 100 years that we've actually had to go into 10 rounds of voting.
McCarthy. Lawler. McCarthy.
Oh, gosh. The representative who said that, oh, yeah, the representative representing Bill and Hillary Clinton, I vote for Kevin McCarthy. Oh, a bunch of losers. McCarthy with 111, Jeffries with 109, Donald's with 4, and, of course, Donald J. Trump sitting over there with 1 vote from Matt Gaetz of Florida. Once again, you are watching live from the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, Sam Newsman, the 118th Congress. And this is the 7th vote here on this day, Thursday, January 5th in the year 2023. Something that has not happened in over 100 years. It's been 100 years since this has occurred. And the last time it was 1923. They went to 9 rounds of voting before a speaker was elected. 9 rounds of voting before a speaker was elected.
Luna. Donalds.
Byron Donalds with 11 votes. 11 votes for Byron Donalds.
McCarthy. Lynch.
We're on the letter L of the alphabet right now. Of course, they do the reading of the roll in alphabetical order. I do believe that there has been a few people who have not shown up, but we will keep our eye out. Once again, McCarthy with 119, Jeffries with 115, Donalds with 11, and Trump with 1.
Massey. McCarthy. Mast.
Massey, of course, voting for McCarthy. Heard a lot of people say that they'd like to see Thomas Massey be the Speaker of the House, but he's probably too compromised for that to happen.
McCarthy.
McCarthy voting for who? Oh, McCarthy. You know, I guess, is it shameless for you to vote for yourself? I guess it's not shameless to vote for yourself. Once again, let everybody know that you are watching the most riveting political coverage here around from a real media puppet. There's media puppets and humans that are called media puppets all over the place, and politics can be boring. But leave it to me, the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, to make things a little bit more fun and lively and riveting, as we see that McCarthy does have 127, Jeffries with 121, Donalds with 11, and of course, Donald J. Trump with the 1 vote in the others column. Of course, the news of the day is Matt Gaetz nominating President Trump, former President Trump, Orange 45. That's what sometimes I call him, Orange 45. Orange 45 with 1 vote. But here we go. We do have Trump with a vote from Matt Gaetz, which has been the news of the day. Donalds with another vote. Donalds with 12. And, of course, there will be more votes that will be happening today. 8th round of voting, if you will. McCarthy does not have the votes to be Speaker. It'll be interesting to see if other people start. It'll be interesting to see if anybody else votes for Trump in the next round. Well, it'll be also interesting to see if Gaetz votes for Trump in the next round.
Molinaro. McCarthy. Molinar. McCarthy. Mooney. McCarthy.
This is absolutely interesting. Of course, now I'm wondering what's going to happen in the next round. We know that we're going to be going to another round. McCarthy does not have the votes for this round of voting. Jeffries will still end up with about 112 votes, I believe. No, 212 votes. Excuse me. Sorry about that. 212 votes for Jeffries.
Moulton. Jeffries. Mervan. Jeffries. Mullen. Jeffries. Murphy. McCarthy. Nadler. Jeffries. Napolitano. Jeffries. Neal. Jeffries. Neguse. Jeffries.
Here we are once again, broadcasting live here on Thursday.
Newhouse. McCarthy. Nickel. Jeffries. Norcross. Jeffries. Norman. Donalds. None of Iowa. McCarthy. Obernolte.
Donalds with 13, Jeffries with 137, McCarthy with 143,
Jeffries.
and Donald J. Trump with 1 vote.
Donald.
Donald's now with 14. Once again, we're interested to see if Donald's will have 20 or more than 20.
Jeffries.
If Donald's has 20 and Donald Trump has the 1, then that still is still a net gain for the obstruction caucus. Do we want to call that them? Is that the obstruction caucus? Well, we had the BlackRock Cut Caucus that was on the other day talking about, well, this is the mission. This is the mission. The mission is to fund BlackRock and all of those and military industrial weapons manufacturers and make sure that we continue to send mercenaries over across the sea. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. So we'll call this the obstruction caucus. The Speaker Obstruction Caucus, right? Yeah, you say that 3 times. That Speaker Obstruction Caucus, Speaker Obstruction Caucus, Speaker Obstruction Caucus. Hey, look, I did it. I did it. I did do that. I'm not sure if you guys could do that, but of course I could. 146, 147, 14 and 1 here right now. We do have a couple of names left, and there will be a 8th vote for Speaker. As you note, the number 1 that you see here, right next to me, that number 1 right over there, that number 1 right there, that number 1 right there is Donald Trump. Donald Trump that was nominated by Matt Gaetz of Florida. Matt Gaetz, who was accused of sex trafficking, but then federal prosecutors dropped the case, which is very interesting. Oh, Lord. Let's see. Who is paying Congress to create obstruction? Maybe we need a federal investigation. Oh, my gosh. Have you ever noticed that any of these federal investigations never come up with anything? They really don't. Last time something did was the Church Committee. Remember the Church Committee back in the 70s? You know what they ended up coming out with is that they ended up coming out with that they actually have a heart attack gun. Whoop, hold on. Let's see. Here's someone trying to call in here.
Rogers of Washington. McCarthy. Rogers of Alabama. McCarthy. Rogers of Kentucky. McCarthy. Rose. McCarthy. Rosendahl. Donalds. Ross. Jeffries. Rouser. McCarthy. Roy. Donalds.
Donalds was 16.
Ruiz.
Donalds was 16. Jeffries with 159. McCarthy with 153. And the others with 1. The others being Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump with a vote from Matt Gaetz of Florida.
Jeffries. Salazar. McCarthy. Salinas. Jeffries. Sanchez. Jeffries. Santos. Santos. McCarthy. Sarbanes. Jeffries. Scalise. McCarthy.
So here we are once again, ladies and gentlemen, here on this 5th day of January in the year 2023, Thursday, January 5th, 2023, with the 7th round of voting currently in place, with Kevin McCarthy at 157, Hakeem Jeffries at 165, Byron Donalds at 16, and the others, that other being Donald J. Trump, being nominated by Matt Gaetz of Florida. Once again, everybody knows that politics can be boring. And of course, I would agree with you that a lot of times politics is boring. It is nothing more than a dog and pony show of a bunch of paid shills. But of course, leave it to me, the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, to make things a little bit more fun, a little bit more riveting. Tell your friends that, of course, politics, yes, is boring, but not when you're getting politics from the most trusted puppet in media.
Jeffries. Scott of Virginia. Jeffries. Self. Donalds. Sessions. McCarthy. Sewell.
Donald's with 17.
Sherman.
Jeffries with 172. McCarthy with 159.
Sherrill.
And Donald J. Trump with 1.
Jeffries. Simpson.
Once again, it'll be interesting to see what happens in between the next two votes because Matt Gaetz said that he voted for Donald Trump.
Smith of Missouri. McCarthy. Smith of Nebraska. McCarthy. Smith of New Jersey. McCarthy. Smith of Washington. Jeffries. Smucker. McCarthy. Sorensen. Jeffries. Soto. Jeffries. Spanberger. Jeffries. Sparks. Sparks. Stansberry. Jeffries.
Once again, here we are live for the 7th round of the Speaker of the House voting
Stauber.
here on this 5th day of January, here on a Thursday
Steele.
in the year 2023. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
McCarthy. Style.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Yes, politics can be boring, but once again, I said, leave it to me, the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, to make it a little bit more fun, lively, and interesting. Of course, I root for interesting.
Stewart.
You know, people always say, well, Sam, who do you want to win? Well, if I were to sit there and have a favorite, then that wouldn't be any fun. Once again, I root for interesting. Interesting gives me content and the ability to sit there and commentate as we're watching this live happen. McCarthy, 171. Jeffries with 184. Donald's with 17. And Donald J. Trump with 1.
Jeffries.
Once again, Jeffries will end up with about 212 votes. Jeffries will be the vote leader, just as he has been the last 6 rounds. Of course, then people would say, well, why isn't Jeffries going to be Speaker of the House if he keeps winning? Well, you have to have 218 votes total. You have to have 218 votes total. Jeffries is going to get about 212.
Mississippi. Jeffries. Thompson of Pennsylvania. McCarthy. Tiffany. McCarthy. Timmons. McCarthy. Titus. Jeffries. Tlaib. Jeffries. Takuda. Jeffries. Tonto. Jeffries. Torres of California. Jeffries. Torres of New York. Jeffries. Trahan. Jeffries.
Well, you know what I just thought about? Maybe we'll call him the Freedom Obstruction Caucus. You want to call him that? We'll call him the Freedom Obstruction Caucus. Obstructing Freedom Caucus? How about that? Obstructing Freedom Caucus. That's. Oh, Lord.
McCarthy. Van Dyne. McCarthy. Van Orden. McCarthy. Vargas. Vargas.
Well, it's very interesting. If Donalds does not get 20, that means that he's dropped in numbers since yesterday. But we did have Matt Gaetz get up there and mention Donald Trump.
Jeffries. DC. Jeffries. The last quiz.
TUV, WX, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs.
Wahlberg. McCarthy. Waltz. McCarthy. Wasserman Schultz. Jeffries.
Once again, Jeffries is going to end up with 212.
Jeffries. Watson Coleman. Jeffries. Weber of Texas. McCarthy. Webster of Florida. McCarthy. Winstrup. McCarthy. Westerman. McCarthy. Wexton.
Wow.
Jeffries. Wild. Jeffries.
Wild indeed.
Williams of Georgia. Jeffries. Williams of New York. McCarthy. Williams of Texas. McCarthy. Wilson of Florida. Wilson of Florida. Jeffries. Wilson of South Carolina. McCarthy. Whitman. McCarthy. Womack. McCarthy. Yacob. McCarthy. Zinke. McCarthy.
All right. That's the end of the list. They're going to call whose names did not say anything this go round. McCarthy with 194, Jeffries with 210.
The reading clerk will now call the names of the members-elect who did not answer the first call of the roll.
All right, let's see who did not call.
Berrigan. Jeffries. Burchett. McCarthy.
Obviously, Congress is broken. There's not enough duct tape to put it back together.
McCarthy. Donalds.
Donald's voting for himself.
Emmer. McCarthy. Hageman. McCarthy.
Once again, here we are.
Mills. McCarthy. Perry. Perry. Rushenthaler. McCarthy.
Perry did not vote. Perry did not vote. Didn't even vote present.
McCarthy. Sparks. Present.
Spart's voting present. There we go. There's a present. A lot of commotion here in the chamber. I think that's it. That's a wrap. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap. Here we go.
If there are any representatives elect who did not answer the call of the roll, they may come to the well and vote at this time.
All right, so I guess if anybody who did not vote will be doing it. So here we go. We have McCarthy at 201, Jeffries at 211, Donald's at 18, Donald J. Trump at 1, and of course, the 1 vote for present. Very interesting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Very interesting stuff. Here we are, of course. You know, politics can be boring, but of course, leave it to me, the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, to make things a little bit more lively, a little bit more spunky as we continue our quest to find out exactly who will be the next Speaker of the House. We'll be back a little bit later this afternoon. Let's see here. We do have one more, someone coming down there to the front. What's going on?
Mr. Perry, you are not recorded. You are not recorded.
Byron Donalds, there it is. And there we go. That's the 20 that was needed. That was the 20 that was needed to keep everything. So if Matt Gaetz would have voted for Donalds, we would have still had the 20 votes for Donalds. However, Matt Gaetz, the story of the day, Matt Gaetz voting for Donald J. Trump, which is very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. There he is, Matt Gaetz there on, they're talking right now with some individuals. But once again, here I am, the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, reporting on this day, Thursday, January 5th in the year 2023, here for the 118th Congress, the 7th vote for the Speaker of the House. We'll be back, probably not for the next go-round, but we will be back for the 9th voting, which should happen in a few hours. So keep it tuned here. Set your notifications. Let everyone know. Follow me at Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on Twitter, at Sam Newsman on TikTok, Sam Newsman here on YouTube, and also on Facebook for all the election coverage that you want from a real media puppet. Broadcasting live here once again on this day, Thursday, January 5th in the year 2023, from the most trusted puppet in media. Reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman, and this is the 118th Congress Speaker of the House vote.